that NATO, and in particular the UK, and I mean, you know, if you think about it, really, ever since 1917, on virtually every major conflict, we've fought side by side, and we've been absolutely at the heart of NATO. And whilst you're far bigger in military terms than we are, you know, I've always felt, from what Americans have said to me over the decades, that they really valued working with British forces. And it would appear that President Biden has taken this decision unilaterally without consulting the British or anybody else in NATO. And I do put it to you, General, that this kind of behaviour does threaten the future of a military alliance that has worked pretty well for the last 70 years.
Yeah, Nigel, it really has. And look, I wouldn't take this one issue and really blow it up and say there's problems with the future. Look, I was in the Trump White House for 1,461 days, the whole time we were there. And we served in the military alongside very closely with the British and with the French as well, be it Syria or be Iraq or anywhere else. And we always had great feelings for the British, and we worked very, very well with them. Very candidly, Nigel, this would not have happened with Donald Trump in the White House. We came together with a good plan. We worked a hard plan for a very phased withdrawal using gates coming out of Afghanistan that would ensure that there was going to be peace and reconciliation going forward. May have been uneasy, but we had it set up to go that way. And I know the president, because I was in there in the Oval Office several times, when he would pick up the phone and he would call the allies. He called your prime minister. He would call Macron. He would call anybody he'd want to at the time. But he also called Mullah Baradar, who was the Taliban's chief negotiator, and made it very, very clear to him what would happen if Baradar violated the discussions we were having going forward. In fact, you know, you can recall, Nigel, that since he made the decision to withdraw February of a year ago, and we made the agreement with the Taliban, and we talked to the Taliban, President Trump did, there were no American service members killed in Afghanistan during that time. But we maintained that relationship. We're very proud of that relationship. I'm personally very proud of the relationship the amount of time I spent in NATO.
No, well, thank you for saying that, because I think we perhaps need to hear that at this moment in time, especially before the House of Commons gets together in special session tomorrow. But, General, you know, Donald Trump had, since 2009, been pretty sceptical about our continued presence in Afghanistan. He made it an electoral issue, and Joe Biden matched it. How would a Trump final withdrawal have been different from what Joe Biden did?
It's significantly. Here was the deal, and I'll cut to the immediate chase scene, as we say in America, going forward. The whole idea was to have an agreement, a peace agreement between the Taliban and with President Ghani to have a reconciliation government in Afghanistan. And we were not going to withdraw that final tranche of troops, 2,500 troops, plus 3,500 military under our Central Intelligence Agency. They were not going to stand down, nor was our air power going to stand down until that agreement was signed. We weren't going to walk away unilaterally. There was never an intent to do that. That was the plan going forward. And it was working. I thought it was working very, very well. And then in 20 January, we changed governments. And I have no idea where the plan went, but it clearly went somewhere.
Okay.
And they made that unilateral decision to move on.
Would you understand, General Kellogg, that here in the United Kingdom and in Europe as well, you know, we have suffered from jihadi attacks, too many jihadi attacks. It's been mercifully quiet just recently. We've had too many of them. And we know we have dangerous cells in these countries who will feel empowered by what has happened with the rapid Taliban takeover of Afghanistan. And would it surprise you to know that there are voices on this side of the pond saying that America has made us a far less safe place and has opened up the door once again to international terrorism?
Yeah, but here's my pushback, Nigel, is with President Trump. Remember, we killed Soleimani. Remember, we killed Baghdadi. Remember, in support with the UK and also the French, we reduced and then eliminated the ISIS caliphate. When we found a terrorist out there, he threatened our interest. We went out, we found him, and we killed him. President Trump did that a lot. So it depends on the leadership you have. I have confidence in what we did. The world should have had confidence in what we did. And now it has to take another step and take a deep breath and figure out where we're going right now.
Well, that's right, because where do we go right now? I mean, there is no way back. There is going to be no political will, certainly, to go back into Afghanistan. And I think this threat, this increased threat of international terror is all too real. General, final question. Was the last 20 years of us together with you in Afghanistan worth it?
Well, I think there's going to be some hard questions asked about how we handle ourselves, not the last 20 years, but the last 18. Because the first 2 years were righteous. We went in to defeat al-Qaeda, which we did. To get bin Laden, we eventually got him in Pakistan. And colleague Sheikh Mohammed, the mastermind of 9/11, is now sitting in a jail cell in Guantanamo. It was the last 18 years we have to ask ourselves, did we do it right? Were we creating the right force on the ground? Was this the military that we should have developed in conjunction with our NATO allies? Were we correct in how we trained them, how we equipped them, and how we help them lead going forward? So I think when you say, was it worth it? It was always worth it in the sense that we gave a noble effort. And we did that in conjunction with our NATO alliance. And I think we should feel proud about that. The end state, I don't like what happened. But I would say soldiering shoulder to shoulder with our NATO allies, we did a pretty good job.
OK, thank you very much indeed.
Welcome to the GB News YouTube channel. You can watch us live 24 hours a day, catch up on your favourite shows and join in the conversation in the comments below.
Don't forget to subscribe and you'll never miss any of our exclusive content.